Take 7, you got this time? Okay. Alright, so take number 2. What's up, guys? It's or Deity, and I just failed trying to show off my new account, so we're going to go at this again. But it's been a while since I've done an account review video, and I want to show all my new units. I did just re-gear everything, so we're going to go ahead and get right into it. These are going to be sorted by color, so if you want to skip around and figure out which unit you want to see, you just skip to a part where you see dark units and skip around in there. It'll be pretty long overall. So Ken, I do not use Ken. He's just on random gear. My face was covering the stats last time. Now it is not, so you can see it, but he's just on whatever. Ravi, I did switch her up, put her on more damage, less bulk, and no immunity. I want to see how the no immunity ends up playing out, but overall, she's pretty good. Adventurer Razz, he's PvE only. I use him for Lich. Sometimes I'll draft him RT, but it's very rare. Lilius, I've been trying a crit damage Lilius lately. She's okay. So far, if I had a little bit better gear, I think she'd actually be very, very strong. And I put her on Holy Stack. I've been loving Holy Stack so far. I was using Portrait before. Holy Stack has been way better. Kayron, I don't typically use him. He is a nice pocket pick, just in case, but overall, he still feels pretty bad in the current meta. And then Kana is a Lich unit. Nothing special about her. I only use her for PvE. So that's going to be quite a few of these units. Lytica. Lytica is something that I'm going to be testing here shortly. I'm going to be trying to use her as an Arby or Vildrid counter because her S3 pushes back 100%. And then Sachets will push you up. So if you can get your Lytica to one-shot an Arby, then, which isn't too bad because she has pretty good multipliers on her S3 and she gets skill null just in case you fail. But I'm going to try that for a video here pretty soon. It should be pretty fun going forward, but I just don't quite have the gear right now. Next up is Polytus. I've been doing damage Polytus. She's not quite finished, but overall, she has been performing way better than my old Polytus. Old Polytus just would sit there and not really do anything. This one half healths their team whenever she procs, which is really nice. So I definitely like damage Polytus more. I've been thinking about putting her on book, but still just on an extra abyssal for now. And then Carrot. So I did just build Carrot. I wanted to go for a super high attack meme build, and I have not got to play her at all so far. So I don't know if this is going to work. Her and Signia's gear, this is my Signia gear, but I put my Carrot's gear on Signia, which I'll show in a little bit. They're pretty much interchangeable, but if you look at this, I'm very squishy. So this probably won't work too well. It's probably better to go like 4K attack even with as much bulk as you can get. Sacrifice 800 for any bulk, but maybe this will work. The thing is, I'm a really aggressive player in RTA, so I was thinking the higher attack, I could just kill them faster, but I don't know if that'll actually work or not. So then Tenebria is only used for Lich right now. She's part of that team. I put her on crit damage. Doesn't really matter. She has an effectiveness to hit. Her stats are pretty garbage, but this is just PvE gear that got passed down. So my shoe, my shoe is almost 30,000 HP. I don't plan on really ever using her, but occasionally I accidentally pick her, and if I accidentally pick her here, maybe she'll do some damage. You never know. We'll have to see. Maybe I'll try her in like a guild war. I'll try her in a guild war just to see how hard she hits, because it's a lot of HP, and she actually has a lot of attack with decent crit damage. So her crit chance is obviously low, but if I attack a fire unit, 90% chance, not bad. Alright, now Cigarette, she is a Wyvern character, still in the same old rage set that I've shown before. Nothing too special here. Crow, my Crow is terrible. He's super bulky, but he has no effector, so he just gets locked down pretty easily. I do use him a lot, but like I said, he falls flat on his face way too often. So eventually I'll get gear that's more non-super focused bulk with more effectors. But for right now, he'll have to do. Rose is for Labyrinth only. Rose has really good morale in Lab. I do not use her to cleave anymore with Polytus, and so just having... I feel like there's just so much stuff countering her, and she has such low base speed, it's almost impossible to build her fast enough to do anything. So my Corinne, I put her on rage set to farm Wyvern. It's just a normal Corinne. It doesn't do any more damage than if I wasn't on rage set, but really, because she's on Torn Sleeve. If she's on Daydream Joker, this would actually work really well, but I need her for the debuffs. So... is what it is. Kisei, though. So Kisei is one I'm excited about. I just built her this morning, and I played a couple games with it. I don't think she's lost yet. This Kisei popping off. So I was at a 280 Kisei or 290 Kisei last video, I decided to slow her down and go for more damage. And overall, I think I like this a lot more. Where I've been playing her is not into faster teams. It's been more into the slow, bulky teams. And even with her being that slow, she still ends up working very, very well. Her damage is crazy. But yeah, she has 100% win rate so far, though, for RTA, which is nice. And says no gear. I might have a Says video coming. I did get a couple really good games on RTA with him last season, but I never end up doing a video. I gotta remember to go look for that. But he's not good, but you can make him good if you try really hard. So maybe that'll be coming soon. So Cerise, this is one of my 300 speed units. She's just in a weird spot right now. I don't use her to boost CDOM, so I just went for as fast as I possibly could on Misconfile and with as much effectiveness. She has a little bit of bulk, and she's on my Guild War defense, and she gets a lot of wins. But it is what it is. I don't know how to really use her in RTA right now at all. She just feels really bad there. If you cleave with her, she feels good, but for this build, it's good for Guild Wars defense. Now, next up, my SSB is still in the same build she's been on for like 2 years. I love this build. I'll never change it. It does enough damage to pretty much kill everything. She is squishy, but like I said, I'm more aggressive whenever I play, so I try to take turn 1 and get my attacks out first to where when SSB does get hit, she finishes off the rest of the enemy team. Fairy Tail Seria is very slow. I do not usually pick her, ever, but she can be picked. I try to make it to where my units can be picked in case that's the best pick, because your units don't always have to have the best gear quality ever. Just having them on some gear makes it to where you can use them anytime you want. Summer says, yeah, I did end up buying the Summer says skin. So Angelic Mount Morancy, I hate this unit. I used to use her all the time, but I feel like she's fallen off so hard I don't even use her in PvE anymore. I don't know why, but maybe one day I'll re-gear her, but I just don't know where I'd ever use this unit in PvP, and there's no PvE really left to do. My DN, I kind of like my DN. She's 182 effect res with 222 speed and decent bulk. I don't pick her nearly as much as I should because I don't ban Bassar or Landy, and if Landy or Bassar gets picked into her, she usually just gets wrecked. So I don't... actually, this could be reforged, so she could be even better, but she's not great, but she's decent. So Lindsay I rebuilt today. I put her on Unity set. She's not fully reforged, but she's on her artifact to give her crit chance. She's pretty fast, but she's very squishy. But she has decent damage, so I don't usually pick her unless it's into SSB, and I would like to have her decently fast to get the defense buff up early, and I'll have to let you all know how this build ends up going once I finish it, because I don't plan on picking her until I probably reforge these, unless I absolutely have to. Next up, Mui. I have not used Mui in a long time. Mui just feels really, really bad. I love her as a character, and I miss using her, but yeah, I don't know. Next up, Eufine. Eufine's okay. Not really. Eufine's terrible. That's why she has no gear. I want to say she can be good, but it's the only way she's good is if you pick 4 other super broken meta units with her. And yeah. Next up, Clary. I did slow my Clary down quite a bit. She's still 274, but so I do not use her to speed contest, but I use her still constantly. Clary will always be a good unit. So if you're a newer player looking to build a unit, definitely build Clary. You will not be disappointed. Mort is still on the same injury set. He's still the same meme he's always been. Maybe eventually I'll reforge this if I ever decide to farm Katie's if they buff these sets, because the pieces are pretty decent, but I just cannot get myself to farm for reforges. So his stats are looking really bad because missing a lot of percentages overall, but maybe one day we'll... I'm feeling he'll get an EE or just a raw buff to make him better, but I just can't get myself to ever want to use him. So this is my Signia. This is actually my Carrot gear on my Signia. So that's about the bulk that I have on Carrot, but she's way slower. I like Signia a lot. I like her a lot in anti-cleave. Overall, I'm pretty happy with her as a unit. I'm surprised. I thought she'd be really bad, but she has won me a lot of very, very stupid games that I never dreamed I'd win. Her passive, just killing the enemy team whenever you don't get crit, is crazy. The thing is, I do have this max, and she always gets crit. Every time I bring her in Guild Wars, she dies immediately. Landy T Cern just kills her instantly. Low attack. It is low attack, but I'm missing Reforge. I mean, it's not that low. She has... My Carrot gear on her is 6k. But with a Carrot's gear... Or Okay, with the gear that's on Carrot, this is 6,000, which is Senia's normal gear. But either way, she would still work like this just fine. Next up, we have Biken. This Biken is optimized for B13 one-shot. So this helmet, I just rolled it yesterday, actually, or this morning, and it rolled perfect, because if you see I'm at 347 crit damage, if I reforge this, it goes to 24%, which is 350 exactly. And then the effectiveness goes up by 3% or 4%, which puts me almost right at the 65 number. So this set overall came out amazing for Bike, and I'm super happy with it. Next up, we got Sid. Sid is not really geared, don't need to really cover anything. I'll pick him as a speed imprint if I have to. And then if he crits, maybe it could end up winning, but overall, he don't really have any extra gear to build him, nor would I really want to. My Vildrid was 240 speed. I lowered him to this because I stole some of the gear for some later units. He's triple S. He is there to pick as a speed imprint as well, and he can clean up shop if he does end up getting a turn. But overall, he's okay. Next up, Bellona. Do not use Landy. So I have a very aggressive Landy. She dies instantly. One Ravi S3, she's basically dead. But she does a lot of damage overall. She has low attack, high crit damage, and she's fast. So if she does end up moving, she'll push up my team, do quite a bit of damage, and set me up for the rest of the game. And that's what I mainly use her for. If she does end up dying, usually I can maybe still win because of that speed buff that she gives. And works out pretty good. 96 crit, very scuffed. I will likely change one of her pieces to get some crit chance once I get the stone. I would like to build her... Honestly, I'd like to go 250 crit damage with a lot more bulk. And about the same attack, and slower. But I just don't have the gear right now. So my Bassar is still the same tanky Bassar. 261 speed, immunity, 1914 defense, a little bit of health. And he works very, very good. If people were trying to draft a Sid into Bassar for a while, and they would hit my Bassar and it'd do like half health, and it was hilarious. But it would steal the souls, which would end up screwing me anyway. But I love tanky Bassar versus super race Bassar. Next up, Vivian. My Vivian got butchered. She's still 260 speed after Reforge, but she's very tanky and her crit damage is low. But I just haven't been using her, so I couldn't justify keeping her on very good gear. So a lot of her pieces, they're all pretty mid-tier pieces. Now, I just gave her like the scraps of what I rolled that didn't go well. My Dustina is my cleansing unit. So Dustina, she has 270 Effectros. She's on broken set because this rolled really good for Effectros piece, 18 speed with pretty decent overall stats. I use her every guild war. I use her in Arena. I'm actually going to climb Arena this week. I forgot about that. I'm going to be climbing Arena now that they do blind day all the time. So I need to work on that after this video. Do I have a Sid? Yeah, we're going to get to all the dark units. So Dustina, pretty damn good. Overall, I love her as a unit. Rowana, I don't ever use her. I probably end up putting her on the free health set because she has a couple really good pieces like this. I can put this on a counter Ilynav, and this piece is terrible. I have a couple weird pieces. That piece was meant for counter Dizzy. This piece is meant for counter Dizzy, I guess. I don't know. Well, no. Why do I have this? I upgraded this, I think, at the beginning of the game when I had no idea what I was doing, and I held on to it to remind myself that I'm not as much of an idiot anymore. I think that's why I have this piece. But either way, next up, GPergus. My GPergus was 245 on Unity, but as you saw, I put that Unity set on Alencia, and I built him on Immunity as more of like a standard General Pergus. I'm trying to get more into the meta, but it's been very hard for me to wrap my brain around what the hell I'm doing. I still haven't decided on a first pick that I'm comfortable with. But we'll get it all straightened out over the next week or two, and then maybe make some kind of push. But just for fun, don't be too stressed. So Judge Kisei, I don't use her. She's on gear, but I don't use Oxlots. So without using Oxlots, can't really use Judge Kisei at all, unless I use like Flan into Kisei and then push with Landy. I don't know. It'd be so hard. So hard to figure out a way to use her without using A-Lots, which is really unfortunate because feels like she is very needed, or that one unit's needed to make her be any good whatsoever. So LQC, I think she's the same as last video. A little bit of bulk, a little bit of attack, a little bit of crit damage. This is like the middle ground build. I did just 10 friendship her, so I will skill up her. I did get another Sigurd Scythe, which is huge. So I finally got her how I want her. I like the Hellcutter attack builds more, but the problem is this gear just works for her and no one else, so it feels bad to take this gear off and have it just sit, because there's no one else that you really want 160 speed with these kind of stats. So if I went for a Hellcutter, I'd go for like 4,000 something attack, like 4,200 attack, as much bulk as I can, about the same speed, 150 to 160, and then no crit damage, maybe or no crit chance hardly, like maybe 60 crit chance, 70 crit chance, probably 70, and however much crit damage I could squeeze out after. My fighter Maya, I love this unit. She has some of my highest rated gear overall. Like these boots are very, very high rolled. And then she's on penetration shot, so she does super good damage. I use her in almost every guild war. Occasionally I'll draft her in RTA, and whenever I do, it usually ends up working. But overall, you can't draft her in RTA too much because she's easily countered by a lot of the current meta because all the non-counter units. So next up, Last Rider Crowd, same build as before. I have no reason to change it. It's always worked, and I find myself picking him less and less because I pre-ban a Tywin. So he's still good. I like his build. I like how tanky he is. Obviously, if I want more HP, I'd do more damage, but I do like having the defense because people have to hit into him for forever, and that defense stacks with his barrier, which I did Mola his barrier. So it ends up making him just overall more tanky being on the high defense build. So I do like that. MRSA is just on kind of meme gear. It was just leftover stuff that I have. I mean, I could draft this, I guess, into Cleave as a speed imprint, and then say things go wrong, maybe she could solo. Doubtful, but she does have a decent amount of bulk. And then if she has speed buff, she'll have okay damage overall. But I haven't tried her yet. I just built her this morning. Specimen says I built back on my 20,000 HP build. So I have a really good pair of boots that slots between Landy, Spez, and a few other characters. He's about to be Friendship 10, so I'm going to get 3 more Mola back. But I do plan on trying to use him with Maid Chloe and Troublemaker Crozet. Next up, and I use him on RNL. And then well, I haven't been really going over my artifacts for a lot of these units, but that's fine. So next up, we're going to show Tempest Cern. My Tempest Cern's immunity lifesteal build. I am on Moonlight Dreamblade right now because I just have so many units using Alexa's Basket. It's been really rough to balance it, and I do like Moonlight Dreamblade because I use her on my defenses for Guild War and RTA, or not RTA, Guild War and Arena. I think she's on my Arena defense, but overall, I use her quite a bit. She has a couple really, really nice pieces. Like, these boots are super good. That's pretty bad. All right, she has 2 really good pieces. But that's it. Or the helmet's not as good as the boots. But next up, Phase Silica. I never even remember this unit exists anymore. I used to use her every single day. And I just kept stealing her gear, because I found I was using her less and less and less. So now she's just sitting on just spare stuff. She's still usable if I have to pick her. But Scuff, I mean, a little bit Scuff crit chance. But I don't know. Fade Silica, I just feel like it's in a pretty weird spot overall. I would not personally use her. You guys see T-Cern boot? Yeah. Nope. Yep, I got you. Sorry, I'm not reading chat. I'll read chat after all this. So save your questions till the end. Silverlight Amartha. 250 speed. I use her in Guild War all the time. I use her with Specimen says you can win pretty much every Guild War. You actually can use her in Arena too. It works really well. Whenever you get like a team with no speed contest or no T-Cern. Pretty easy. That's the only place she's really good, though. In RTA, it's so hard to pick her because of all the counters for control units now. Solitaria, same deal. 252 speed. I don't use her very much, but it's nice to have her as a counter pick. 150 effectiveness. She's on my plus 30 Abyssal. I'm probably going to end up stealing this from her because I feel like it's wasted because I don't use her enough. But overall, her stats are okay for what she is. So my DJ Bassar is my second cleansing unit, but he's way less effect res. So I only pick him when I have like FCC for the imprint, and that's basically it. So this is DJ Bassar. He's pretty squishy on his health, but his defense is reasonably high. His speed's like middle ground. His effect res 233. With FCC imprint, it's about 250, which is good enough for me. He has a chance to still get hit, which sucks, but it is what it is. I like him as a unit. I feel like his buffs were actually really good. Some people I see still saying he's bad. But he's used by a lot of the top players right now, so I would assume he's probably pretty good. I don't know. I need to learn where to use him and like where to use him right. So my Ruele, it's another unit that I don't use a ton. She's on double effect reset health. Kind of just put gear on her because I had the spare gear. Her overall stat line's a bit lower than like the typical Ruele you'd see, but it works. APOC Ravi. Still in a bad spot as a unit. This is the build I went with. A little bit more attack, but super crit damage. That's just how all my gear rolls. It goes always into crit damage, so a lot of my units, like my Landy, my Ravi, they're just stuck on super high crit damage, and there's like not much I can do to fix that. This will reforge. It'll give me 3 more crit chance or 4 more crit chance, so she'll be much higher. I just don't have the Banshee mats. I don't farm Banshee very often. Next up, Lorena. I don't use Lorena ever. I think I have her. Actually, I think I use her sometimes in my Fire Expedition. That's about it. But I did use her a lot before, but this is just obviously spare gear. Dark Corvus, I don't use them, just put them on some extra gear, just to have big HP number because it looks cool. Dilbert, I built her this morning. So I built my Dilbert on counter. On counter. Missing 3 reforges, so our stats are going to look a little low. But counter, immunity. Big brain, right? Counter immunity, Dilbert? LOL. I don't know. I haven't had her built in a long time, and I was like, I have some extra counter gear. And I was like, wait, I don't have any other gear to make this work. I was like, I have to throw this immunity gear on her, don't I? So, as you can see, we ended up with a counter immunity Dilbert, but I don't know if I'll ever use her at all. Honestly, probably won't, but no damage? No damage at all. She's there to cleanse. She's there to cleanse and tickle. That's it. Alright, so Martial Artist Ken. Speak of no damage, look at this damage. This damage is huge. So I just did a meme build for him too. It's a unit that I never use or never even think to use. I could use him in, say, Guild War if I brought Troublemaker Crozet. Could be okay, but overall, ML Ken's just he's a last pick in RTA if you have a good build on him, and he'll get banned every single time. So you could honestly just leave your ML Ken on no gear, last pick him in RTA, and probably scare a lot of people. Replace immunity with crit better, solid counter. Well, the thing is, I have no crit pieces, or else I would have. But yeah. Still, Fallen Cecilia, same build as always. 231. She's actually on Effect Res imprint. I'm gonna put her back on HP. So this is my true one, but I do switch to Effect Res, like I said earlier, when I'm fighting super debuff comps, just to give myself the AoE extra. I like it a lot. She's pretty decently geared. I've always liked the extra bulk build because a lot of people go crit damage build, but even when I don't crit with her, she hits so hard, and when I do crit, I hit for almost as much as those crit damage builds do. And I mean, obviously, most of the time I don't crit, but when you AoE, I'm going to crit 1 of 4 on average. So, and when I do, it hits very, very hard. She has a couple stats that I could rearrange, but she's always worked like this, so I never bothered changing her. My Troublemaker Crozet, I tried to build him. He's in a rough spot right now. He needs a little bit of work. By a little bit, he needs a lot of work, but I just don't really draft him either. So I haven't wanted to really push his gear any further. And I do need to farm more A13 so I can get some better immunity pieces because this is pretty rough-ish. So he is a very good unit, but he kind of fell off. No one's really picking him against me anymore. There was like a 3-week period where he got picked against me all the time, and I never see him anymore. Arby, though, my Arby is probably my best geared unit. He has all of his pieces overall are pretty damn good. I'm probably going to always leave him on this gear just because it's good. This piece I could probably change out 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, it's missing a roll. Kind of missing a roll. I could get a better sword, but it's going to take a while before I ever can. And he's optimized. I'm happy with him. I don't have any changes left to do. So just go ahead and leave that. He is triple S. Any of you that are wondering maybe if you can't attain the stats, but he is on immunity. That's one thing. Immunity Arby is amazing. I just have to say he's amazing. And chat can attest, when I gab, he does plenty of damage. So even though he's only 44 or 3274, if he gabs, I win. I pretty much win almost every time. So I don't know. I am going to build a more damage Arby, not on immunity, because I got a second Arby, which I'll go over that later. So I did build a Sid. He's got a little bit low attack because I am on a flat HP ring. And there's some changes I could do overall. He has a couple really scuffed pieces of gear. But I'm glad I have him. 296. Everything over 295 into like the 305 speed range, it's so RNG. At that point, speed RNG is so high once you get to these numbers that this 296 can outspeed up to 310, a 310 roll. So it's not the fastest, but he's I'm happy with him. I'm excited to use him more. Assassin Coley, I don't use Assassin Coley because I just don't like her. I feel like she's still in a very bad spot. She's just so easy to counter, and she's so squishy. So I do not like her. In the current meta, everyone picks RT or AoE, especially with Carrot. Carrot debuffs her, she's screwed. Crescent Wren though, so 300 speed Crescent Wren. I've been debating on keeping this or not. She's on some very, very random gear. I cannot lie. As you can see, these boots. I'm gonna end up switching the boots to something else, I'm sure. But for right now, it's like I can just put any boots on because these are all speed pieces. She's good. We just played a game of RTA where chat picked my draft and they picked her and she won. So one thing I wanted to push on her was the effect res though, because whenever you draft her into Cerise, they try to stun you. And if you have effect res and you resist the stun, say it's a high HP Cerise, or like max crit, no effectiveness Cerise, and you resist it, then you just laugh at them. So this is how I used to build my Bassar, but I would go on effect res ring, which would put me up to, this has 9. So how much is effect res ring? I'd have like about 150 effect res. That's how I used to run Bassar. Because I would use my Dustina 18 speed ring on him. But overall, 300 speed should be enough to like, same with the Acid, where I can RNG fight people at least. So Ronda Violet I put back on lifesteal. He's overall squishy. I mean, I'd never pick Rylet. I did just get this chest, I upgraded it. Went pretty good. I'll change the effect res for HP percent probably, because I want to try to get this up. So, and he's got terrible defense scaling with percentage, so I'll probably just do HP percent. And try to make him a little bit tankier, but like I said, I don't use Rylet and don't really plan to. My Sven's just on random gear. Could, if I draft him, he could probably win against an anti-cleave or a cleave team. Maybe. Briar with Seria, she's pretty much the same build as before, 217. She's got a couple pieces that I could change and make better. Especially this. Wait, what is this piece of gear? She's on the wrong boots. That explains why her crit damage and crit chance are so low. She's on definitely the wrong boots. So I will fix those. But this, I mean, I still use her like this. She's been on these boots for months. So, but yeah. Lifesteal and neck. Crit chance, 31 attack. All right, so Operator Cigarette. Operator Cigarette's a unit that I've been using more and more lately, especially when I was using Flan. I've been debating building Flan back on high speeds, but I'm going to play for a while and then see if that's what I actually want to do. But this is strong enough to one-shot anything if I have attack buff, kind of, close to. Unless it's like FCC or one of the super high HP units, but anything else she'll be able to kill as long as it has a shield. Which is all the... And the main reason I use her is for the pushback attack buff. I do need a mole of this. But... Oh, crap. I just played... Oh, no. I put a strict marker out. We're good. I thought I played an ad. Whoops. Roaming Warrior Leo. Sadly, I do not have the gear strong enough to ever make him work. So he obviously is not on anything. Archie Mercedes. Same build as before. Super bulk counter. A little bit of effectiveness so I can strip off some of the stuff as I get later into Frenzy. Because Layla's Violin. The only reason I have effectiveness on her is because of Layla's. Because I want to get that splash strips out against like the middle ground HP or effectors units. Next up we got Spectre Tenebria. So my Spectre Tenebria, same build as before. 99 crit chance, 203 speed, 3702 attack. Destruction set with immunity. So the way I reach those stats, and she's got a decent amount of bulk too, but I have a 17 speed here and 16 speed on here. So both the immunity pieces pretty much carry the build. The necklace is a crit chance necklace, which helps balance everything out as well. And then this is okay, but and the helmet is very low rolled. I eventually will get a replacement helmet, but gotta make it work for now. So Tomika, I did just rebuild Tomika and I 10 friendshiped her. 266 speed, 255 with 3316. So she's able to kill most things. Actually, I'm gonna switch to Digna Orb for my other one, the plus 18 one. But I'm happy with this. This should be strong enough to do most things, and the speed is pretty good overall. She's not as strong as my old one used to be, because my old one was basically these stats on immunity, but like 3,800 attack, which was my Arby gear, but I decided I like Arby more than Tomika, so I put that gear on there. But yeah, she's very, very strong overall. Next up, we got Blood Moon Haste. Blood Moon Haste 192, 23,662. I don't use him as much as I used to. He's okay, but I just feel like he's fallen off a little bit. Like, he's still good, but I feel like you can work around him with all the new units that have come out. So that's pretty much it, though. I do have a few units I'm working on. Celine, I do have on some just regular attack gear. She's okay. As a 5th pick, maybe. She's on broken set right now. But if I have to use her, I think she would one-shot something squishy. If I really, really had to. My Blaze Dingo I do use in lab. This is all he needs, so I use him for high morale comp in lab. And then Maid Chloe is a work in progress. She is a very work in progress, as you can see. I do not know what to do with her yet. She has... I don't know. Eventually I'll figure this out. I just pretty much need to farm an entirely new set for her. And try something. These boots aren't bad. But overall, the recipe's pretty dang bad. She almost has more effectiveness than Effectros. But other than that, like Luna is just on a meme build. Revenge set build. And then Flan is just on simple 245. So Bassar into Flan, I'm going to be using it for Arena. Other than that, though, that's it. I don't have any other units to show. I'm not going to go over my Guild War defenses or Arena or anything like that right now. This is all I want to show for this video, just to keep it nice and clean. So hopefully you guys maybe got some insight from this. If you are new to the channel, if you're willing to subscribe, that'd be amazing. And I will see you all in the next video. Peace out.